I let my best friend take the fall for something I did. And before you start typing out how horrible I am, I know. Trust me, I know. I've lived with it for over 10 years. This isn't one of those oops, I borrowed her sweater and never gave it back kind of confessions. This was life-changing, future-changing. This was the night everything I thought I knew about loyalty, friendship, and myself shattered. I'm 29 now. I live in a city far away from the one I grew up in. If you saw me today, you'd probably think I have it all together. Nice apartment, stable job, wedding in the works. But that version of me, it's built on something rotten. Back then, at 18, I was the good girl in my tiny town. My teachers loved me. My parents bragged about me. People at church said things like, "She's going places." And I wanted that so badly. To leave. To prove them right. To be bigger than that suffocating little bubble. My best friend Jessica, she was the opposite. Wild, unpredictable, unapologetic. If I was the girl who'd color inside the lines, she was the one throwing the coloring book out the window. But she was also my person, the one I laughed with until my stomach hurt, the one who knew my secrets, the one who gave me courage, until the night I betrayed her. It was the summer after graduation, the kind of summer where every night feels like it might be the last time you'll all be together. We'd been at a bonfire out in the middle of nowhere, the kind where someone always brought cheap beer, someone always brought weed, and someone always had a guitar they didn't actually know how to play. Jessica had been drinking hard. Not sloppy, but definitely not safe to drive. Me? I'd had a couple, but I told myself I was fine. I always told myself I was fine. When it was time to leave, she tossed me her keys. "You drive," she said. "I'll get us killed if I do." I didn't argue. I didn't even hesitate. The road was dark, quiet. The kind of silence where even the music blasting felt swallowed up by the night. And then it happened. I missed a stop sign. 1 second the road was empty, the next, headlights. The sound. God, it was like being crushed from the inside. Metal folding in on itself. Glass exploding. My body snapping forward into the wheel. When I opened my eyes, I saw the other car spin and crash into a streetlight. And then silence. Until a scream broke it. A woman stumbled out of the other car, blood dripping down her arm, her face pale. Someone from a nearby house came running, yelling they'd called 911, and then the sirens. Red and blue lights washing over the street. My chest tightened. My hands stuck to the steering wheel. I thought, this is it. I've just destroyed my future. And before I could even speak, Jessica leaned forward, calm, steady, like she'd practiced it. "It was me," she said. "I was driving." The cop looked at me, then back at her. "That true?" And I nodded. I nodded and let them put handcuffs on my best friend. The woman survived. Broken arm, concussion, bruises that would fade. Thank God. But survival didn't matter in our town. Reputation did. And Jessica's was shredded. She was charged with reckless driving, underage drinking. Her name was plastered across whispers, gossip, judgment. The Whitman girl nearly killed someone. I sat in the courtroom, watching her stand in front of the judge. Her parents sat stiff, their faces pale with shame. She never looked at me. Not once. And I never opened my mouth. Every night I'd replay it, lying in bed staring at the ceiling. Say something. Tell the truth. But I never did, because if I did, my life would have ended. No college, no scholarships, no escape from that town. So I told myself Jessica was strong, that she'd always been the rebel anyway, that she'd bounce back. That was the lie I clung to. But the truth, I let her drown so I could swim. We didn't have a big fight. We didn't scream at each other, we just stopped. The silence between us said everything. I'd see her sometimes, at the gas station, in the grocery store. She'd glance at me, just long enough for me to know she saw me. Her face wasn't angry. It wasn't bitter. It was worse. It was disappointed. And disappointment lasts longer than hate. Let me ask you, if you were 18, terrified, watching your whole future slip through your fingers, would you have confessed? Or would you have done what I did? Let someone else carry it? I really want to know. Because sometimes I wonder if I'm truly the monster here, or if anyone else would have frozen the same way. I went to college that fall, got out of that town, built a life. Jessica didn't. She tried community college but dropped out, got stuck in waitressing jobs, moving from one to the next. She looked older every time I saw her, more tired. Meanwhile, I got everything she didn't. A degree, a job, a fiancé. And every accomplishment felt poisoned. Because deep down, I knew. I built it on her broken foundation. At first, the guilt was sharp, a stabbing pain. But over the years, it dulled, turned into a heavy stone I just carried around. I'd be in a lecture hall, everyone scribbling notes, and suddenly I'd hear that crash. I'd smell the smoke, I'd see her face, I'd be out on a date, laughing, pretending to be normal, and in the middle of it, I'd picture her in that courtroom, taking the blame for me. And then I'd swallow it down, push it away, smile. That became my habit. Smile, pretend, carry the weight quietly. The last real conversation we had was about 6 months after the accident. I ran into her outside a convenience store. She had a cigarette in her hand, something I'd never seen before. "You're different," I said. She blew out smoke, gave me a half smile. "Yeah, guess I am." I wanted to say something then, to spill it all. But the words stuck. She looked at me like she knew, like she'd always known, and then she turned and walked away. That was the last time we really talked. If you're still here listening, tell me this. Should I tell her now? After all these years, should I reach out, apologize, confess? Or is that selfish? Is it just me trying to dump my guilt onto her again? Seriously, leave it in the comments because I swear I don't know anymore. A month ago, I got a DM on Instagram from Jessica. It was short, just 2 words. I know. No explanation, no anger, no forgiveness, just that. And I haven't replied because I don't know what to say. Do I apologize? Do I explain? Do I pretend it never showed up? So here I am, confessing to strangers on the internet instead of the one person who deserves it. I let my best friend take the fall for something I did. And I still don't know which is worse, that I ruined her life, or that some selfish part of me is still too scared to ruin mine.